Our next panel is the future of sports, diversity, equity, and inclusion as a business imperative. But before we start, we're going to meet our panelists, starting with Mikael. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. First of all, thanks to Greek House for letting me come here. I'm very happy about that. I come from Sweden. I've been working with about 20 years now with top sport clubs and connecting business partners to them. So basically, I'm a salesperson. So I've been active here in Sweden and in Germany with about 20,000 customers all in all. So a little bit short about me.
Hi everyone, my name is Pavel. Today it's going to be about entertainment, so hopefully we're going to entertain you a little bit today. I'm from the financial space actually, so I'm running a hedge fund, but as additional things, I'm working with sports clubs about new waves and new technologies for building an entertainment like metaverses, this and that. I'm working with gaming companies that are trying to find new ways to approach people and to provide new solutions for them. So I'm trying to involve new technologies, new solutions, AI, to provide a new wave of entertainment that we're going to see in the next decade, I hope. So that's about me.
We're going to be friends.
Yes, we are.
My name's Clayton Thomas. I'm the founder of the Root Brands, company based in Nashville, Tennessee. We are a social sharing community based on an algorithmic fintech system that basically tracks social influence, because each of us is 6 degrees from 6 billion people. Our foundation is in health and performance with a tremendous focus in sports and in different aspects. So this conversation from a DEI standpoint is really interesting because the aspect of inclusion and opportunity in sports is one that hasn't really been touched very well. So this should be interesting.
I'm excited about this one. Now, I don't know for the people in the room, if anybody plays sports or played sports, it's kind of a big deal around the world. And businesses are trying to figure out how they can tap into this community. We're going to talk a little bit about gaming. And Pavel, I'm going to be going over to you in a moment. But first, I want to talk to you, Clayton, regarding Root. You're an organization that looks to support nonprofits, institutes, and one of them being a particular football club.
Yes, we've created a collaboration with a women's semi-professional soccer team in Los Angeles, the United City FC, which is really perfect for this model because it was created as a focus to give women an opportunity to compete at the level that maybe they missed an opportunity to in college due to life issues that come up. It could be abuse. It could have been pregnancy, loss of funds, the little things that happen in life. They've put together a team that allows the development of players after the traditional time period of an opportunity being missed. And in the last year, they've put 5 women on what are they called? Women's national teams, and being able to work as a company in collaboration to create financial opportunities, not just for the team, but for the players, to show that their true value is not just what they've been shown as far as their past, but showing the impact of the game, the sport, and their opportunity to have an influence.
Now, Pavel, where do you see the future of sports?
So I was analyzing this topic heavily, and I was discussing with clubs, with federations a lot about this. And I believe that sport in the future will evolve very much with metaverse that everyone was speaking about. No one did properly. It's dead already, as for now. But with Apple Vision Pro that just has been released, you saw the ad of Apple Vision Pro that it removes everything around you. You just see that element that you want to see. So imagine right now, if you have the football stadium, you have 20, 50,000 people that can fit in. The ticket is, $500. The plane ticket is 1,000 from Europe to arrive there, etc. Not many can afford that. But right now in the stadiums, we have a lot of cameras, we have a lot of microphones. And for $5 somewhere in Africa, the kid can wear the VR glasses and be in the first row on the stadium, having much better emotions than just watching the same soccer ball or football match on the flat screen. And I believe with such a technology, we will create a completely new revenue streams in the future. We will change the model, because for a concert of Bono, we will not just have 70,000 places on the stadium. We'll have 1 million people worldwide watching that, using this kind of metaverse and VR technology that is just evolving right now as we speak. So that's my take on that, and that's the future I see in the next decade, especially that the younger generation is natively born with those tools in their hands. It's something new for us, but for them, it's something natural to use.
Coming over to you, Michael, same thing, Scandinavia, what are you seeing?
Well, I would like to go a little bit to what you were talking about with women's sports, which I find very interesting, and how it has evolved just the last couple of years. I was looking at my own sales numbers in Scandinavia, and if you look at the women's sports and how companies are willing to invest in it, to see what you get back, what's the return of investment, it has grown about 1,700% in my own sales just for women's sports, which I find amazing. And I'm going to be a little bit tough here as well. I'm going to take the chance when I'm sitting on stage. The male leaders in companies are very interested in this, but we need to get female leaders to assist and invest in women's sports. That's what we're missing. We're actually missing the females. So all you ladies here, please go in. The return of investment in sports, not only the commercial part, but also the social part with youth organization. We're making sure our girls have a good upbringing with sports. Please go there. I recommend it highly.
So as a father of a 10-year-old daughter, she is the love of my life, by the way, I love having these kind of conversations. There's a mentor of mine once said that you're either at the table or you're on the menu. So for everybody in this room, you are at the table, which means you're part of the conversation to make the change. I saw you shaking your head over there quite a bit, Clayton, that you seem to agree with this, that there is this opportunity of impact, but also for business's bottom line.
There's a massive impact, and when you understand the power of sports globally, it's one of the things that connects people. And the beautiful part with sports in many aspects is when we look at equity and inclusion, it's the one place that it doesn't have it, which is the beauty of sports, is being competitive. But when we look at sports in general and sports marketing, what hasn't been tapped into is the influence of an athlete and their audience. You can say a fan base. And from a business standpoint, being able to tap into the social impact that an athlete has, if they can collaborate with a specific cause, if they find a brand that they like, that they're passionate about, and the brand can work with them, and I'm using this specifically because this is what the ecosystem is we built, that if you take an athlete and they're able to share with the fans that they have, but then create value from that, something that they can monetize, and a 10-year-old can do this now. Or you can be Giannis, who's making $80 million a year playing basketball, but his real influence is not what he's getting paid to play basketball. It's the societal influence that he has, but being able to take that influence and not just go directly to the people that follow him, but have the opportunity to engage with your direct audience to have an impact on the people that they're connected to, and being able to monetize that all the way through. It's the beautiful part with sports, because traditionally now we're 6 degrees from 6 billion people. Through sports, we're about 3 degrees from 6 billion people because of the impact of the game and so many different sports. So being able to tap into this impact, and regardless of the level of competition one is at. You could be a 10-year-old competing in lacrosse, you could be a gymnast, you can be a swimmer, you could play ping pong, you can play esports, which is changing the landscape for opportunity. And collaborating with businesses, and if a business understands that their advertising money doesn't need to go to pay for advertising to get access to consumers, that they can put their revenue or their advertising revenue into their customer base will compound because of that opportunity. So you put money into people, people will create more money for you.
So I'm going to go there a little bit more with you, Clayton, in that, and some of you probably should know this if you don't already, but the Olympics. Can anybody tell me where they began? In Greece. So it's a really fitting conversation regarding sports, the inclusion and the opportunity. So Clayton, looking at it from the global impact of sports, where do you see, where are we right now? Are we like chapter 12, 18? Like how far along are we? And is this just here to stay?
No, I think we're playing with a new book. I think this is the really cool part of talking with Michael before and Pavel, up here is the changes in technology, the changes in connectivity have created an opportunity to not turn a page, but actually create a new working platform and a new book that we can look at how things were done, but now there's an opportunity to do things completely differently. And because we can learn from our past, but even when we look at Greece and being the foundation for the Olympics, when we look at Olympic committees, the one thing Olympic committees need, money. The one thing that they have are a ton of athletes that people follow, and being able to allow the athletes to create revenue streams for them based on what they're doing, which is also generating money for the committee or for the organization, is massive. And it's never been done before. And it's the same thing that we're seeing with AI. It's the same thing we're seeing with esports. And the connectivity between sports and people has not been done before. So it's a page that we can't turn. It's how we look at it and go, okay, how do we create something new, completely new out of this?
So go there, Pavel. Talk about esports, because this is something that is growing around the world in momentum.
So esports is growing like since 10 years around-ish, and it become a major business right now. Like the amount of people and money that is being put in there is big, is totally big. And I see a new approach in that area. Like with developing of AI, everyone is seeing right now developing of AI. So I've seen some approaches right now, and it's interesting to use AI actually to play esports and to have competition, not between two different esports teams that are playing some kind of game, FIFA or something. We all know FIFA, the soccer ball game. But two different AIs that are playing against each other, and to have tournament of AIs that are playing against each other, to build another, level of business around this. And that's one element. But another one was tokenization and digitalization of sports, of athletes. So to have a virtual athlete that I can speak with, I can have a conversation, who is educated about his interviews, his lives, and different things, where his voice has been put in, and the same athlete that I can speak with can be used within those virtual competitions. And I see a lot of different business models. I see a lot of different approaches that different organizations are trying to do, and they are trying to verify which model will work, which will not. And I completely bet that in the next 5 years, we will see a completely new ways how to approach the esports worldwide, how those esports teams are going to be built on, that we will have a mix of 3 players, AI players, 4 players are going to be a physical ones, and that's going to be a team, and they're going to play against another team like that. So the development of the recent technologies that we see right now that impacting us, because AI was there before, but we were not touching this as we are doing right now. Like ChatGPT, everyone is using ChatGPT because it's natural. I can text, I can ask, like to send my mother, Mom, what is the recipe for that bread that you are always doing? And ChatGPT can answer me that, So, that's the thing. And I believe that in the future we will see a completely new business models, and it's a blank page right now, what's going on in here.
So I think it's fascinating that we see that sports continue to evolve and listen, and it learns. And my summers are spent in Sweden, where my dear brother Mikael is. There's this game there called paddle, and men and women are playing together. That there seems to be new kind of sports being created, pickleball in the United States. So talk about advertising. I mean, what does this look like from a marketing perspective to some companies that are more traditional? How are they able to reach across the lines, and what are they looking for right now?
Well, when it comes to marketing with sports, what I always seen is, I was talking about a little bit earlier, the return of investment, because if you're marketing yourself with a football player or a youth or whatever, it's not only for the second you're getting the spot on the TV. It might be for tomorrow. It might be 10 years ago. If it's a good goal, your brand or what you're marketing with is going to be seen forever. And when it comes to new sports, I think it's very interesting. As you said, paddle, it's fun you bring that up. I have a friend that built a big arena, and it was actually a very popular way. I went in and assisted him with sales around that and create a company network. So as soon as you get a new sport and you get a new interest, you have a very good platform, not only to market your brand and your company, but also get the networking in. Because being in a situation where you all have good fun together, you play with your mates and you create new contacts. So I see new sports is always welcome because it would make people interested to do something new, and it's a very good place to make money, to be truly honest, in a business perspective.
So then how do you find the balance, Clayton, when you're looking to make money, but also make sure that what you're doing will have some sort of generational impact? You know, the old saying to leave this world far better than the way you found it.
I think it comes with mission, vision, purpose, right? So if in our instance, we launched Root in February 2nd of 2020, which was the best time to start a new business, if you remember 4 years ago. But for us, it was really with intent of understanding where we are now from a societal standpoint, that everything has changed, that the internet, social media has connected all of us. And if you have the focus on being of service, you can double down on that. One, from the product or service that you're providing, but then, like I was mentioning, if you put your shift into how you can give back, and if you give back through the creation of value, everybody can win, right? And I think that was the one big thing for me from being a business standpoint, looking at how some of these very, very large trillion-dollar companies act as vacuums financially. Right, so they'll spend a little money on advertising, but they're keeping all of the revenue. And you can be very profitable, as a company, and put a massive amount of money back into the people that create the value for you, and that does a lot more good than keeping all of the money. And I think that's the important part.
Michael, you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, actually, I don't think the either takes away the other, so to speak. The sport clubs always have a youth organization as its background. They are very interested into investing into it because they need new players. That's just the case. You need to find your own players. You cannot buy only new players. And companies, not only the big ones, but also smaller companies that can invest in this, can get a return of their investment through networking, through commercial, will always trickle down to the youth organization. And as I was talking a little bit about women's sports before, what I seen in Sweden, which impressed me a lot and which I'm very happy about, as I have daughters as well, is that the sport clubs have seen that they have a new platform where they can create youth organizations and where they create revenues, to be truly honest. So there has been a lot of investments to making sure that the girls have the same access and the same opportunities and the same access to training, to doctors, to all of that going on. So sure, at this state, the girls don't earn as much money on the top league, but they get the same access, which means we get better sports, which means that we all want to watch it more, and then in second half we got more money into it. So I think it goes good together.
Clayton?
I think the interesting part with this, when we look at consumerism and who has more power and who has more impact on society, is it men or women? It's women, right? So when you look at the marketability of women, we might look at the revenue from the sport with people watching the sport, but the impact that women have, when having even a smaller audience, but they have influence and they're becoming known, their ability to work in a population and have impact on other women and direct spending and direct opportunities is greater than what men have. Because we can watch men in sports because it's entertaining to look at the athleticism, but women actually have more influence on humanity and on society, and especially on spending, whether it's from a health standpoint or if it's from recreational spending. Women are a lot better at this than men are, right? So being able to dictate that and provide opportunities for it.
So to add to this, because the very interesting topic appeared, I would like to connect to two elements that have been touched today, the youth organizations and the things that you have been mentioning before. You know most probably the tennis player Agnieszka Radwańska, the best female tennis player. She is Polish as well. And the organization that she grown from, I had a conversation with them some time ago. And we were thinking how to start building this community around these young athletes, like from the beginning, not once they enter the professional career, but even before. And the interesting part has been the combination of the making money on that and other things. So it was to get money from the people, so people can invest into young player. In return, this player becomes some sort of financial product, because in the future, they are investing into the future of such a young player, young athlete. And in the future, once this athlete enters a professional career, they will spend 20% of their income, or 40, for 5, 10 years, for the people that invested into them at the very beginning. And that's how they want to involve also people to become fans, to support those players from the very beginning. And it's already happening. I saw those investments happening for the athletes that are 10-year-old, are learning the tennis. And for 8 years, those people are constantly supporting them, sending them to different places, which solves also the problem of that in most, like very often people are saying that the tennis player are the people from, wealthy families. It's not the case anymore, because I can be from very poor family and I can have a very good support from the people that want to support me from the very beginning. So we are removing those barriers that we had in sports so far, because everyone will have an equal chance to participate and to become and to be the player or athlete in the future, the professional one, to have the same start. So that's super interesting element that I saw in the recent years.
Mikael, take us out 10, 15 years. What are the changes going to look like?
Oh, that's a good question. In my fantasy world, the one I hope is that more companies see the opportunity in this. And I'm going to be just business interested here, because it trickles down is that if you invest in sport clubs, if you go, the opportunities, for example, you're talking about metaverse, there's so many more marketing opportunities. They're so easier to combine marketing with feelings. Because let's face it, everybody, we do have feelings for our sport clubs. When it's the Olympics, we all know where we are then. And be able to connect your brand with something your customers love. And then we come to metaverse, we come with the youth organization. If you're a small company or big company that early on invest in a player, early on invest in a youth team, and see this team grow, and you do create products that will be on an international level, to be a part of that as a company and actually benefit from that. I hope we will see more of it, and we'll see a more longevity. Sorry, I'm Swedish. My English sometimes fails me. It's something that's really interesting. And again, I have fire for the youth organization as a society, that we lift the question that if the more kids we have playing balls, the less criminality we will have. The more kids we can hold on the right places, the better it will be. And also for us that run companies, youth that have been in tennis, that have been playing football, they have learned discipline. So what I hope is that people recognize it, and we will be working harder as business people to invest in this. And to be honest, you're going to make the money back on it, and you're going to do profit. So you do something good while you're making profit on it.
Same for you, Pavel.
So I believe in the next 10, 15 years, we will see a mix of 3 different types of sport. Physical sport, we know, all of us know the physical sport. E-sport, this is something most of you should be aware of that. And something that I'm calling an artificial sport. Something that is a new thing that is just happening, artificial sport. So we will see combination of all those 3 in the future together. So that's one thing. And another element that I see that should be in the future is a completely new ways to consume emotions that comes from sport. Not relevant from which part of that. So, and that consumption, right now we are consuming this on our flat screens, as I was saying before, or we are in the physical place. But in the future, those distances are going to be removed thanks to the technology. I can be on the stadium as I would be physically, together with friends, and those technologies are already on our iPhones. Like we can watch Netflix together. There is PlayShare together. We can watch this mutually. So what if we can have those VR headphones and we can be on the football match together, sitting around, seeing each other, having the same emotions, consumption, but in completely different way. So the immersion of sports and consumption of those emotions in a digital way is going to be the next big thing, in my opinion.
So we have about 2 minutes. Reader's Digest, Clayton Thomas. What do you see?
In 10 years, Michael and I are going to take over sports business in Scandinavia.
Sounds really good,
we can have
actually.
Some fun.
Yeah, we will.
I honestly think that sports can have a massive social impact beyond what it already has if it's done properly, especially when we look at specific subject matter and how humanity is shifting. If we look at mental health, right? The mental health conversation in basketball is a big thing. And you see it in American football and in other sports. People look at athletes for their strength, but they also understand their weaknesses, and being able to collaborate with those and actually have athletes be able to touch the public, to address their own issues and find things that they like and that they can be of service, that can create value across the board, I think is an opportunity to see a massive shift. So if this is done right, we will see these activities of all different kinds, whether it's an e-sport or still a physical sport, have a much larger societal impact. And that's really the goal, and that's what the Olympics was all about initially. It was giving an opportunity to compete, but also giving an opportunity to put on a show and have countries connect with athletes.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you to to all of you. I know we've taken 30 minutes of your day. Hopefully this was worth the time. My son is 13. He's into Kung Fu. It's a sport. My daughter is into basketball. I'm an assistant coach. It is not even about the sport itself. It's the development. It's about learning from each other experiences. And these failures, they're not failures. It's going to help them through the rest of their lives. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Greek House, to my dear friend Irene for giving us the stage.